Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories, shall we? The first story is called Manager Has No Idea. I worked in a supermarket in the perishables department. Think milk, yogurt, cheese, etc. Stuff with a short shelf life. Our department got merged with another, the nightful department. The manager knew little to nothing about perishables, and it showed. He put me in charge of getting perishables done as I had been there the longest. After a few weeks, he decided we weren't going fast enough. I explained it was because we had to rotate stock. If we didn't, the older stock would be at the back of the shelf and no one would buy it, meaning it would need to be wasted. He didn't care. He told me to stop rotating. I confirmed with him that he wanted me to stop rotating the stock, and he yelled yes. So I told the team to stop rotating stock. In 2 weeks we had to waste thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stock. Of course, he tried to throw me under the bus, but also bizarrely admitted to telling me to stop rotating stock. He didn't see any connection between the two. I wish I could tell you he got fired. He didn't. But he had a meeting with the store manager that left him white as a sheet. For almost a month he barely spoke to anyone and didn't give me or my team any orders. The next story is called Just a Regular Omelette. So, my first job was as a server at a very popular 24-hour breakfast and diner chain with lots of colorful customers. One morning I'm serving a woman sitting by herself. I asked her what I can get her and she says she'd like an omelette. We have a list of pre-built omelettes or you can build your own, so I asked her how she'd like her omelette. Just a regular omelette please, she tells me. Okay, so you don't want one of the signature omelettes. What would you like inside of yours? I ask. Nothing, just a regular omelette, she replies with a huff. I pause for a second, because this order does occur, but not often. Some people like their eggs scrambled and cooked, then rolled up. So you'd like an omelette with nothing inside? Yes, a plain omelette, she snaps, now irritated that I've questioned her several times. So I enter the order, a 5-egg omelette with no fillings and no toppings. A few minutes later it comes out and she is appalled. What is this? Your plain omelette, I reply. But where is the cheese or the ham or the onions? She is irate. Ma'am, you ordered an omelette with nothing inside. She gets cocky and says, an omelette is eggs rolled up with ham, cheese and onions. Everything else is extra. You should know this, working at a breakfast place. I look at her deadpan and inform her, actually ma'am, omelette is French for scrambled eggs that are fried and rolled or folded. Everything else is extra. I'm busy, so I walk off and help other customers. Meanwhile, she flags down a manager to complain, who confirms what I told her. He points out that in the menu there is, very specifically, a ham, cheese and onion omelette with a large picture in the middle of the page. He then tells her she has to reorder her meal and wait a second time. She didn't leave a tip. The third story is called Sorry Boss, I Can't Come In. A few years ago, my wife was working as an EMS worker in our local township. She got home from work one night after a long day and posted a picture of herself holding an unopened beer and saying, I need this. In the picture, you could tell the beer was still closed. A few minutes after she posted her picture, a major storm decided to suddenly roll through. My wife, being the good employee she was, called his supervisor and asked if he needed any help. He said, no, you can't come in, you posted a picture of yourself drinking alcohol. She objected that the can wasn't opened and every idiot could see that, but he wouldn't relent. But he said something about how it could be construed wrong. Fast forward a couple of weeks. It had been a stupidly busy day for her. When she finally got home, she went over to the shelf that we had a bottle of whiskey on. She tossed me her phone and said, quick, take a picture of me drinking this. The cap was obviously still on the bottle, but she tipped it up like she was drinking it and she posted it online as soon as I gave her the phone back. Her boss called her 10 minutes later and said, we need you to come back in, we are short-staffed tonight. She said, sorry boss, I can't, I've been drinking, check online. He tried to object that the cap was on and she said, last time I posted a picture like this, you wouldn't let me come in because it would set the wrong precedent. I wouldn't want to do that to you this time. The next story is called Don't Mess with IT. Not too far back in my career, I was working at a lighting design company that makes lighting fixtures for richer people, which costs a lot of money. Well, this company has been pen and paper for inventory and work orders, etc. and is trying to join the digital age. Well, in comes me, a college kid with a computer science degree and no experience. They say, we will give you a raise while working our technical aspects and give you more work time. I had a wedding to pay for, so more money and time is a huge thing at this point in life. So I needed a decent PC to run the 3D modeling software, internet, the inventory system, and a lot of time to put all the different models into a database. They got me a cheap PC, poor internet connection, I had no inventory system, and they wanted a from the ground up full database in 6 months with no issues. They said they would check monthly on my progress to grade my tenacity. So I go to work, I get the models built and into a file type to be transferred to a database. Then I start scouting different servers I could use for this. I could write my own program as a basic prototype to just get it done. It's been bad to work with the bosses as they keep using the cheapest trial software, and every time they do it ends with me having to start from scratch yet again because they won't pay for a good system, swearing they can easily save money. Finally, I have about 90% of the files done and it's 2 weeks from the deadline, Christmas time and final exams for my certifications. Well, boss number 2 calls and tells me they forgot to check for the last 5 months, and he began screaming how I was incompetent for not having even half of them done. I was bewildered. He tells me to check Form A2 for the list of pieces they wanted to be done. They never sent me that list. It was in no email, not in the team file share, nothing. He says, here's the file. Why didn't you say anything sooner? Get it done. I don't care what it takes. By the way, with this terrible performance, you're not getting a raise. How was I supposed to know of a form that never existed? I took a look at the file. It took 5 months to translate and store 300 of these files. With that form, he added another 1300-ish. I was mad. Cue the malicious compliance. They told me to work from home and as long as it takes, so I made a macro with my PC and set it up to fill out those files. The macro speed was limited by Google Sheets loading time, so it was slightly slower than hand typing but required no input from me. I was free to spend my time playing games, watching TV, etc. Well, about a week in and I get a call about me never clocking out for work. I told him to look at the files. Every time a file was added, it was clocked in the system down to the second. Never had I heard a man so mad about losing that much in wages. What pushed him over the edge was me telling him the money spent paying me for doing this was more than just giving me good software, but I did what it took to get it done. The paycheck was great, the time off was great, and they still don't know how a macro works. The last story is called No Accents. After you have taken a couple hundred calls, a week or 2 of work really, it can get boring, and boredom leads to finding ways to entertain yourself. One of my co-workers decided that he was going to entertain himself by putting on an accent to see how the customers reacted. While I admit he chose poorly, he decided to imitate an Indian accent and started taking calls. He was loving it. After a call or 2, however, his team lead overheard him and asked what he was doing and told him to stop. The next day, an email was sent out forbidding us from using anything other than our natural accents while we were on the phone. Now, I was living in South Texas at the time and have a fairly average American accent with a bit of Texan mixed in. But I have family in East Texas and Central and Northeast Arkansas, and when I was little I spoke like them, and so I had an idea. The next day, my opening changed. Normally it was, "Thank you for calling customer service. How may I help you today?" It became, "Thank you for calling customer service. How can I help you today?" Needless to say, I was quickly noticed and pulled off the phones by my team lead. He asked me if I had read the email, which I confirmed, and then he went on to ask why, if I had read the email, I was using an accent. The look of utter confusion on his face when I told him I'm not was priceless. After a bit of back and forth, I told him that I was way speaking as I had been on those calls and that the accent that they were used to hearing me take calls in was in fact not my natural accent. And since I didn't want to get written up, I had complied by reverting to the one that was. He wasn't sure how to respond at first and even ran to speak with a manager above him, but kept me off the phones while he figured out how they wanted to proceed. A few minutes later, they came back and told me that they wanted me to go back to my professional accent. I told them that it would be setting a bad example to the rest of the team, since we don't want anyone using an accent that isn't their natural accent either. They were stumped on how to proceed and sent me back to the phones. I continued to take calls with my natural accent after that. A few of my peers started noticing, and a few of them even joined in by abandoning their Americanized accents in favor of their native Mexican accents. It was glorious. In the end, management decided to roll back the rule and only asked us to keep in one accent throughout the call and not to use an accent that is derogatory demeaning. I went back to my normal accent, and my teammate went back to using a different accent on each call. Thinking back on it, I should have invited him to my Dungeons & Dragons group. He would have made a great dungeon master. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. It really helps in the algorithm. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.